So I'm going to walk you through the redetermination process job aid, the first steps in that before you hold your meeting. The first thing you're going to do is to go into your caseload and see which students you have on your caseload that have an eligibility due this school year. Once you have that list, you're going to go into SharePoint, go into the special education homepage, and you're going to go over here to trackers and click on the eligibility pre-planning reeval tracker. I can't click on that because it will show student information, but you'll fill that out like you do the other trackers. You'll click on new item and add all the necessary information that is needed. Now this must be completed at least 3 months prior to that eligibility due date. It's better if it's done before that, but we know when intake season comes, sometimes that's not possible. Once you've filled out all that information, a team is going to get together and review the results of that tracker, and they'll send you an email or notify your lead on what their recommendation is for that student, whether they feel that more testing is needed to continue eligibility or whether they feel we have enough information to continue eligibility without testing. Please keep in mind that's just a recommendation, so just because what they say does not mean what goes, because it is an IEP team decision. So if the IEP team feels after they look at more data during the meeting, if they feel testing is or is not needed, then that is an IEP team decision. So once you've completed the tracker and you've gotten the recommendation back, it's time for you to go and schedule the meeting. So you're going to pull up your LEA Gen Ed sign-up sheet for your school level and find a meeting time that works for you. And then you'll send the Outlook invite to the LEA and Gen Ed that signs up and the notice of meeting to the parent with their parental rights. Your next step, once you've created the notice of meeting and set up the meeting date, you're going to go into Documents and you are going to select a redetermination form in IC. So to do that, you're going to click on the student you're holding the redeterm meeting for. You're going to select New Document. And then you're going to select Create New Simple Form. You're going to select the drop-down, and you're going to select Redetermination. Obviously, I have a test student, so my link is for an out-of-date school year, but you'll have the updated school year here. Then you're going to click on Create Document, and you'll get this document that shows up. It should automatically populate with the student's name and information, but just check that's correct. If you get into this form and you can't type like I am right now, then just try a different internet browser. Sometimes the PDFs aren't writable in certain browsers. So you'll put the date that you're holding the redeterm meeting, the date that that student's eligibility is due, not the date that you're updating it, the date that it's actually due. And then during the meeting, after you've reviewed the student data document, which I will show you in a second, you're going to check off all the things that you discussed here during that meeting. So keep in mind, you don't have to check off all of these check marks, only the ones that you discussed during the meeting. So what you're going to do once you've created it, obviously you can't fill any of this really out prior to the meeting except possibly the data reviewed as a draft. You're going to click Save. And you can see it'll show up here. It'll show up for you on your current school year under Forms. And you can see it's right here. It's my one in draft mode here when I created it. So when you need to pull that up during the actual redeterm meeting, you can just click on that and make your necessary information notes. So I had mentioned the redeterm form document. This is the document here and what it looks like. And this is located on the eligibility redeterm tab in the special education resources notebook in SharePoint as well, if you'd like a copy. You can draft as much of this as you can prior to the meeting, but the information from parents, you can either get information that they gave you prior to the meeting or you can fill that out during the meeting. But you're going to go through and fill out all the areas that you need to. Again, if there's an area you don't need to discuss for that student, for example, if for speech language, if they're not speech language impaired, you can just delete that whole column. You don't need to keep that in there and put no data or not at this time. So you're going to cover all the areas that are relevant that the team needs to know about. You can see on the bottom of this data form, there's a lot of blank white space, and that's for you to copy and paste the minutes that your gen ed teacher has taken. So after the meeting, you've gotten the minutes, you reviewed the minutes and checked them over. This is where you can copy and paste all of the minutes so that they're all in one spot and are easy to notice. So once you've drafted this document during the meeting, obviously you'll update it and review it with the team. You'll save this in a folder where you can easily access it. And then this will need to be loaded into Infinite Campus. Where you're going to load this is where you've created your read a term checklist. So you're going to fill out the Word document in draft mode, go over that during the meeting, add the minutes after the meeting. You're going to open up this document during the meeting, and then continue to fill out based on your recommendations. Yes or no if they continue eligibility. Make sure you have permission for the parent to sign virtually. You are going to staple this form, this Word document, right here into your, attached right here to your forms file. I have another recording that shows you how to staple that document into the read a term form if you are not sure how to do that. So once you've done that and you've loaded everything you need to, again, you're going to make sure you've stapled that student data form, and that's really easy to do. You can just click Upload Document, give it a name. You can put the date that student document was filled out. So say it was done here, read a term student data. Choose your file and add it the PDF. So let's just say that's it. Then you're going to choose the staple to the documents and go to your forms where you want that. Mine, again, is different because I have a test student, so it kind of shows up in a weird spot. But you'll click here on the read a term form you want it added to. Again, yours will show with that school year calendar. With a test student, mine shows up in a weird spot. And once you've clicked that staple it will show up, and I will show you where it is. You can see here, it's under my forms, and you can see the little plus sign here. And that little staple, it shows that that sheet is there. And this just helps keep everything in one space. So that's why it's really important that you staple that blank student Word document to the redetermination form in IC. And again, all these directions are located in SharePoint. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.